At the Corner Grill with the Bloom family at your Pratte, the bar that everybody knows your name. And we're going to spend a little bit of time here tonight. Still to come, Josh Orlowski, one of the best barkeeps in the business. We're going to talk some NFL, but right now it's about the history of the bar. So you worked here. Your parents owned this place. We're not so sure, but it's around 52 or so when this bar first became the Corner Grill. I grew up down the street at my grandmother's place. Talk about bar ownership, working here as a young person, the relationships that have been a part of your life forever. Go ahead, Renee.
Well, I can honestly say that it's always been called the Corner Grill. I started here.
Always.
I started here in 1992. I was 19 years old. His mom and dad bought it in 91. John came in and
2000. Yes. I lived out of state for 10 years. Came back here, was working another job, and then my parents decided they wanted out of it. So they asked Renee and myself if we wanted to take over the bar, and that's how we've been here for 23 years on our own, plus the 12 or so that my folks were.
Listen, I spent so many Christmas Eves, Christmas days here before the pandemic, and I've said it and I'm going to say it again. If I didn't have this place, I don't know where I would have ended up. This is an incredible place, a wonderful location. There's something charming about it, and I know people complain about the parking, but guess what? A lot of people just roll into this bar that live in this community, and what better way to go to a bar than to walk to the bar front door and then walk to your front door at the end of the night. Look, let's make no mistake about it. I have fantasized for years about being a barkeep, a saloon owner, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. So you two are getting to that stage, as we all are, where you want the next chapter. So most people know the bar is up for sale, but in a perfect world, we want it to remain right here, and we want it to remain the Corner Grill, right, Johnny?
Sure, certainly. It's a community staple for, a half a decade, more than that.
So you'll still come here and have a cold one, but what's it like, the thought process of not having that turnkey operation anymore? This is your family, these people, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've met a lot of great people in this neighborhood. Made a lot of friends over the years.
And I know you're big into the youth baseball thing. They've got some great stuff happening here in New Brighton. But what was the real reason, Renee, you finally told your husband, maybe it's time? Was it just ongoing, or was it finally one day you went, man, we're going to have to make a change?
Well, I was missing a lot of my kids' baseball games. I probably seen 4 of his Diamond Dog games. I'm not even sure how many of the Brighton games I saw. Maybe 5. And I missed a lot of it because I always have to be here. There's always somebody has to be here.
Listen,
When you own a bar, you're married to it.
I know that. Do you guys live close by?
About a mile up there.
Perfect. So what are some of your fondest memories? Obviously Steelers games and Penguin games and Pirates and New Brighton football, basketball, all that stuff.
Yeah, the New Brighton parents, for sure, the kids' parents, besides the regulars, but no, undoubtedly Christmas Eve, St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, man.
All those times were great times.
Yeah.
Do you realize the food? Now listen, I do a cooking show with the Coons Quality Foods folks for 2 decades. Coons Market, got one in Hopewell. So I'm all about food, okay? I would tell Joe Dentisi, because I would do my Feast of the Seven Fishes broadcast at Coons Market McKnight Road, then I'd end up here. You guys, when somebody said they put out food, you had to be losing money on Christmas Eve. I mean, I've never seen that much food put out.
Yes, she does.
So was that like your gift back to the community?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I do that.
Here's the other thing that you're always famous for. My dear friend Bob Bunsen Burner, married to my sister Eve for a long time, would always say, their meatloaf sandwiches, they've got so much food. And when I would stroll my babies down to Outlook Point, Robbie and Eva, when they were small, the exhaust fan and all the food that would come out. So I'd always be asking people, what about the Corner Grill? What about the Corner Grill? Why do you think bar food, and there's a lot of great bars in Beaver County, but your food here is like 5-star. I mean, that's all, forget about the beer and the fine wine and your spirits. Has food always been that important to you? And the portions are incredible.
Yeah. Like, everybody loves the fish. Everyone's talking about our fish.
All of her specials are homemade.
You do all that cooking?
Yeah, she does the hot roast beef, the meatloaf, the stuffed green peppers, all of it.
So how about your memories working here as a young girl and falling in love with this knucklehead here and having a great life together? So memories.
There's just so many. I couldn't even say.
Some of the patrons that you remember, my dear friend Froggy Morris years ago had a bar in Pittsburgh. And at the end of every one of his commercials, he would say, "So long, Joe and Al, I'll miss you boys." People, because he had it for so long, that they would pass away. So it was like a way of him doing a little tribute at the end. How about some of the people that have been a part of this bar? Sadly, maybe no longer with us, but generation from generation to generation, right?
Every year there's a new crowd that comes in. It's kind of cool because you watch. I've been here since I was 19, so I know. Like I'm 51 now, so just amazing how many people come and gone, and it's just sad.
But still related to some that have since passed on. And there's been plenty that have passed on.
You know what I remember the most about this bar when I was a kid? When we had the shift workers, the factory workers who were coming in, they would eat at the bar, they would have a beer or two at the bar, then they would head home. Back in the day when business was booming in Beaver County, this is the stop that you made after a long day, whether it was right. People wanted to go to the bar, but it was a family thing, and it was a place for them to unwind and connect and get caught up in the business of the day. And even though things have changed, it still really is the Corner Grill.
Yeah, it's
Always
the
will
same.
It's kind of like Cheers. It'll always be.
It is. So as we say goodbye and I get ready to talk a little sports, thank you both for letting me do this. And big football weekend, right to the big game. This is the place to be, and your Pratte Pack's going to find a way. I'm going to Uber over or taxi over from Monaco and spend a little time before the next chapter. So what would you say to someone about why they should own this bar? I'm going to let you both do that. I've got some thoughts, but I want you to do being the owner.
It's a New Brighton staple. It's been here for decades.
To me, it's a landmark.
It is.
It is a bit of a landmark. It's not going away. Whether I own it or whether we own it or somebody else owns it, this place is not going away.
What would you say to that? Somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur. And look, the crowd here is the 20-something. I mean, I'm here tonight on Pool and Dart Lake night. They could be my kids. There's a lot of young people, and that's a good sign of the future. You got people like me, but you got future too, right?
Well, when you take a look around, that's the one thing about this bar. It's been a very big mix of 20s to 50s and 60s, and it always has been since I've been here, over 2 decades. It's always been a really good mix.
So the last thing, the Pirates, because I do that little thing called the Cooley Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Is this the year that we're not talking 500, we're talking maybe somewhat more competitive in the division?
Under 500, but better than last year.
Listen, you made my night. I love both of you. And I know you've been through some health challenges, but you're doing great now, and that's wonderful. You're one of the best barkeeps anywhere. And I'll tell you, one of the most satisfying things when I was going through that part of my life, I'd be at the end of the bar with my friends from Monaco, my buddy Vince Townley, truly one of the gifted journalists anywhere in this region. Vince, let me tell you about Vince Townley. Vince and I used to do a sports talk show back in Ohio years ago. That guy taught me so much about sports, and he is truly a dear, dear soul. But when I was going through those times when the hat kept going down lower and lower, and I'm thinking, come on, God, you gotta get me through this. I look at the end of the bar, and it'd be John just sipping on a bottle of beer, and I go, it's all good in the neighborhood. The Corner Grill, the one and only. Who will be the next to step up? Big shoes to fill. Much love. Josh Orlowski to the front desk, please. We're going to talk some sports next. Thanks, Tommy.
Okay, I thought I paused it, but maybe I
No, you're good.